Elite performers accomplish 10 times more, maybe even 100 times more than the average person does. And they do all this despite oftentimes working fewer hours in a day. Now, in many cases, they're not smarter than anybody else, but they have a certain mental model in which they live their life around. They've figured out how to detect signal versus noise and focus on the 20% of things that get them 80% of the results. So if you're constantly working your ass off 10 plus hours a day and putting in the hard work, then this video is for you. So today, let's discuss the filtering framework these high performers use and how you can integrate it into your own life. Let's begin. Most people are overworked, stressed out, and even anxious because modern day culture has this unrealistic expectation of people to keep performing at their best. They say, just work harder, stay a bit later, do more things. And we're told that the only meaningful way to leave a real mark on the world is to embed ourselves in this hustle culture, to always be on the grind, to always be doing more things. Society is focused around hyper productivity and output. We're told to be in a million different places, doing a million different things by a million different people who ultimately don't give a shit about who you are or your mental well-being. And this is a twisted mind game because we all want to fit in. We want to be seen as productive members of society. We want to buy nice things and have higher status. This is human nature. The big question is, why have we been conditioned to always stress about doing more things under the guise of being productive? I have a bunch of theories as to why this is, along with just a simple fact of human nature, but we won't go there today. The always busy and hustle and grind culture that most people live and experience in this Western world isn't beneficial, because most people, as you might be able to relate to, live the same few days on repeat for years. Despite the hard work, despite doing more, nothing changes. You stress yourself out trying to do more and achieve more, but nothing changes. You don't go anywhere. The world belongs to those who show up, but showing up everywhere means arriving nowhere. The more you try to do, the less you actually accomplish. The fewer things change in your life. And ultimately, as I said before, you live the same day on repeat for years and years and years. I used to think high performers had this natural talent for just getting things done, or that they were lucky or smarter than other people. But then I realized, after studying these people and trying to embody these things within my own life, these people are creative, they're innovative. They are thinking outside of the box and looking for high leverage tasks instead of having their hands dipped in multiple baskets all at once. Because when your hand is dipped in multiple baskets all at once, your attention is spread in multiple different directions and your overall output decreases. You don't focus as well. You don't remember things as well. You don't think as clearly. And overall, your cognition declines significantly because you're focusing on so many things. And over these last few months, especially, I've fully embraced the fact that what separates high performers from the average person is that high performers are masters at filtering out the noise, at figuring out, okay, this right here is my high leverage task, so I will dedicate my time and attention and energy on this thing. All this other stuff that looks amazing, that seems like it could be really beneficial to me, isn't all that important. A perfect example of this is Steve Jobs. In 1997, he was rehired by Apple because the company wasn't making that much money compared to what it is they're doing today. So Jobs supposedly gathered all the top managers and supervisors into one room and said, all right, guys, we need to make a shit ton of changes because you guys are focusing on too much. At that time, Apple had a bunch of half-finished and subpar products. because they thought more was better. They thought, okay, well, if we have something for this and this and this and this, then we'll make more money. But ultimately that wasn't the case because they were about to go bankrupt before they rehired Steve Jobs. Anyways, Steve Jobs said, all right, guys, if we want Apple to make money, if you guys want to keep your jobs, then we need to cut all this other stuff out and just focus on these products. And that's exactly what they did. I'm sure being in that room at that time was brutal because there were people who perhaps had been working on a certain product idea for years. But since it wasn't beneficial to the overarching philosophy and direction of the company, they had to cut it out because otherwise that person wouldn't have even had a job to begin with. And now, 30 years later, Apple is one of the biggest superpower companies in the entire world. Shoot, I'm filming this video right now on an Apple device. You're probably watching this video on an Apple device. That's because they've been able to do so much more with their business over time because back then when they needed it most, they were able to filter out signal versus noise. And they went all in on the signal. Deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. These elite high performers are masters at this. They can figure out the 20% of things that'll get them 80% of results, and they go all in. You can do the same. If you find yourself always scattered, always pulled in this direction with a resume, a laundry list of uncompleted projects, then you're somebody who perhaps thinks things are more important than what they are. And maybe you're pulled in one direction and you go all in on that. And then a week later, before this is even done, you go towards something else. And this, my friend, is very counterproductive. It's very likely you were not in the same position as Steve Jobs or Apple. But this principle still applies to your life. So the question you must ask yourself is, how can I identify the signal amongst all the noise that's going on in my life? From my experience, it starts with gaining clarity on your long-term vision. Because if you don't have a target to aim at, if you don't have something to move towards, then everything you do on a daily basis won't be in alignment with what it is you're trying to do. You'll become scattered, unfocused, pulled in so many different directions that you lack clarity. And this is exactly why gaining clarity on your long-term vision is crucial. In fact, it's a necessary first step. Without this, you'll feel so pressured to conform to societal expectations of hyper-productivity, aka just doing more low-leverage stuff, and end up doing the same things every day over and over again. And then your life looks just like everybody else's. If you're somebody who's watching this video, then it's unlikely you want to live a life just like everybody else. You want to think clearly. You want to operate in the world around you with this degree of elite level thinking and performance that most people don't experience. So, what the hell can you do? What are the answers? How can you apply this principle to your life? It's quite simple. There are 3 things. Number 1 is set your long-term vision. Number 2 is begin to cut out those shiny objects that are pulling your attention in different directions. And number 3 is be intentional about trying to master your thinking patterns. Of course, that third point is a lot easier said than done, but you can refer back to any of my old videos to see what I mean and how you can go about doing that. From here, you've cut out the noise and you have a clear signal. And your action step at that point is to ruthlessly pursue whatever that signal is and take those meticulous but impactful actions every single day in order to get to your long-term vision. Because otherwise, you're in the same boat as you're in right now. You're in the same boat as most other people who are walking about life in this trance-like state with no real meaningful long-term vision for their future. Society praises hard workers, but the universe actually rewards those hard workers who have a clear vision and are acting in accordance with what is meaningful and impactful to them. So pair hard work with signal detection and go all in. Filter out the noise and move toward the signal. You keep those principles in mind, you'll be living a completely different reality from where you're at right now. Alrighty, I'll end it there. Take care.